Star Citizen 4.6 comes with another event to earn hangar attributed rewards, including a not yellow max lift at last, and an item fabricator for when crafting arrives. With 54 possible contracts to complete, we're spoiled for grinding choice for potentially 2 months. Of course, with so many contracts to contend with, I've put together a one-page guide as a reference for your viewing pleasure. You can get the high-res version from my Discord server or the RSI Community Hub. And if by some strange algorithmic miracle you have found yourself on this video with no idea what Star Citizen is or what is going on, there is a time-limited event happening during Star Citizen Alpha 4.6 where you can earn items that get permanently attached to your account. And feel free to use my handy link down below or my code to make your account and get a bonus 50,000 credits. With the 3 rewards for transport, collection, and defense needing 10,000 points each to fully complete, and another 4 rewards for your overall contribution at 30,000, thankfully, this time around, all contract reward points are shared with party members, including the overall contribution that wasn't correctly sharing earlier in the PTU cycle. And the most time-efficient way to build your totals for virtually all of the branches is to run the entry-level contract. So, good news for small ship soloists. Starting with the collections branch, these can be viewed in all 3 systems, but only deliver to Stanton. As with the other 2 branches, at 1,000 points, you'll get a Silverton jacket in that particular branch style. But specifically for collections, you'll then get a Purifier mask which occupies the hat slot and is purely cosmetic at 5,000 points, and then the Apollo red and gold livery at 10,000. There are 2 main types of contract: research, which delivers to New Babbage on Microtech, and manufacturing that goes to Lawville on Hurston. If you missed my Decari pod video and weren't prepared to complete this branch when the patch arrived, fear not! That video has all the information you need on where to get your hands on the pickables if you want to go that route. But for quick, Weeping Cove on Hurston or Shepherd's Rest on Bloom are the best spots for Stanton or Pyro respectively. As for the other resources, you can either mine or buy most of them. Be sure to utilize 2 brilliant community-driven resources, UEX Corp for trading, and for basically anything mining related, Regolith Survey Corps. Links for those are both down below. Pressurized Ice can be bought from Port Tressler above Microtech, or can be mined at Pyro's asteroid clusters. Technically, it should only be available in the farthest reaches of the system, but that's currently not the case and hasn't been since it was implemented. You're looking for I-type asteroids, and you can refine at a local station or take to Levski the refining bonus. If, like me, you're finally getting to grips with mining before it's needed for crafting, you can find Borace, Bexalite and Laranite in most asteroids around the verse, but I also had a fair amount of success in just a humble golem after this comment from a seasoned rockhopper on Reddit. Drifting across the surface of Stanton's moons, looking for igneous and granite nodes. Obviously there's some that will just be impossible to tackle for the little golem, but you can still get a respectable amount. And if buying is more your thing, you can get both Bexalite and Laranite at terminals, but be aware that this is likely a lot of people's strategy, and the terminals may be no or low stock. Bexalite is available from a few mining outposts on Hurston, or Buena Ravine and Fallow Fields in Pyro. Laranite can only be bought in Stanton, at HDMS Lathan or Bezdek in Hurston, or ArcCorp 56 or 55. Borace currently cannot be purchased, so you'll have to mine or just ignore that particular resource. All 3 branches also have a milestone contract that will appear after you've hit 5,000 points in that branch. For the collections milestone, you need 5 Molina mushrooms, handpicked from Levski's Grand Barter tunnels, up on the same level as conscientious objects, and then take them to New Babbage. When you're looking for your mushrooms though, don't be confused with the mustard yellow miner's horn that grows all over Levski, and if you have highlighting turned on in your options, it won't work for these. Just look for the large flat cap with the glowing veins on top. These milestone contracts aren't necessarily worth the time invested for the points, but I would recommend doing them just in case there are hidden rewards that get delivered after the event is over. Moving to the transport branch, and the main reward I bet most people are gunning for will be at 50%, which is the Alliance Aid Max Lift Heavy Tractor Skin. There's a near-matching green paint for the Argo Raft at 100% too. And talking of tractors, if you are using an ATLS to shift boxes, don't forget you can stand at 90 degrees, tap the Z key to enter free look, and then the articulated arm will move without lumbering the entire exosuit left and right, allowing you to speed load your cargo. Ling family couriers offer medical and mold treatment cargo contracts that pick up from Stanton landing zones for delivery to Stanton stations. At the time of writing and recording this video, the points awarded for medium and large medical cargo contract from Lings seem to be the wrong way around. But for points to time spent efficiency, again, I prefer to stick to the small hauls anyway. There is also a 1/8 SEU courier contract provided by FTL. But be sure not to confuse Vital Package Retrieval with Courier Needed, which has got more combat than you'd expect. Kovalex offer a hearty batch of interstellar hauling contracts going to and from Levski. With the annoyingly named treatment cargo that you might get confused with the Ling treatment cargo contracts going from Stanton landing zones, along with the interstellar brackets filters, and from low orbit stations is the interstellar brackets medical. Shuttling a collection of small contracts from Stanton to Nix is how I prefer to run this on PTU, picking up the cryopods and research hauls from Levski to return back to New Babbage. But you might find that just local hopping small contracts in Stanton is much more your cup of tea. The milestone contract for transport is the double interstellar medical and filters haul, picking up 64 SEU total in 2 SEU boxes from New Babbage and Lawville, and then heading over to Levski for a respectable 1,166 points. And last up, for the battle hungry, defense, especially if you're solo, feels like the longest grind of this event. The points rewards are the lowest of all 3 branches, so it takes some doing to get the Defense Division themed M3, M4 and M5A cannons at 50% and the Paladin paint at 100%. So out of all of the branches, this one I heartily recommend doing with friends just to break the tedium. With the standard archetype of contracts you've come to expect by now, there's the usual ships you'd see in the easy, medium and hard difficulties for all, with Supply Thief, Resource Raiders and Hauler Hunters being the straight-up kill all enemies in sight. And with these, as well as the rest of the defense line, just be aware of vanguards, or depending on your ship size, arrows with distortion weapons. You can tell if something's packing distortion by the telltale blue bolts, and if your shields go down, those weapons will start knocking out your power plant pretty quickly if you're not careful. Just something to factor into your target prioritization that, if you've taken a break from Star Citizen, you might not be familiar with now that we've got engineering. Escort needed, security needed, and protection detail needed for the escort type of missions. If you don't have a marker for the first set of enemies at the rendezvous point, approach the asteroid mining base and then start scanning, looking for the telltale IR, EM, and CS signatures of a ship out at around 20 kilometers away. It's a straightforward defense of a slow-moving friendly ship until it lands in the station. And the same basically applies to the defend contracts. Burn to the stationary friendly and take out the waves of enemies. Once the last enemy is dealt with, your little friendly will bimble off into the black. Now, for my preferred contract for this branch, the Recover Cargo missions are the best paying point-wise, and attempted cargo theft can be easily completed in something like a Titan. Dropping off at an external freight elevator to speed things along, you will get into the same groove that I did, I am sure. But as with all contracts, the higher up you go, like the Freelancer for Stop Cargo Heist or the Caterpillar for Thwart Cargo Jacking, the more time you have to invest for less points. So I stick to rinse and repeating the small contract just to get it done. If you've never used the external freight elevators at a low orbit station before, look for these big cargo pods on a spindle of the station. In this example at Everest Harbour above Hurston, they are on the distinct spindle, and as you close in you'll notice the bay numbers and see the grey bumps that are the cargo elevators. If you get an impound warning, fly off to the side, hop out of your ship and bring up the elevator. When it's open, you won't get the warning unless it's stuck to your screen, in which case just hit F4 to go to advanced cam and then hit it again and it'll be cleared. Send your cargo down, call the elevator back up so that it's ready for the next run, and away you go. The milestone for defense is ironically a cargo retrieval from an Avenger Titan. However, this one is a little bit more extreme. Located in the Glacium Belt in Nyx, the ship carries 4 cryopods and is surrounded by a group of 6 light to medium enemies. I was absolutely not prepared for that the first time I went into it, and so had to resort to some crazy shenanigans. The cryopods need to be delivered to Port Tressler above Microtech in Stanton, so again, not really worth the time investment for the 675 points, but I would recommend doing it at least once. I am intrigued to know how people are going about this event, whether you're all out grinding, or whether you're being a little bit more chill. Let me know in the comments down below. When all is said and done, either because you've powered through, worried the servers will fall over, or you've taken it slow and steady, when you hit 30,000 total points, you'll have the new Chiron armor set, Asgard green livery, Apollo red livery, the AA support Paramed device, the admittedly rather nice looking digital camo Perseus paint, and of course, a hangar attributed item fabricator, which is most likely the one we saw at CitizenCon and in the Evocati crafting tech preview. Good luck on your grind, and until the next one, fellow citizens, fly safe and beware the bugs.